everybody. Welcome to another episode of Reviewcade. I'm Nick alongside
Andrew.
And before we started actually rolling on this episode, so Andrew was telling me something. You were telling me something like really interesting about basically how there's two black holes and
They come in for each other.
Yeah, they're coming. They're the fucking sharks and the jets right now.
So there are two black holes, two giant. I mean, we're talking supermassive black holes that are. I mean, in the grand scheme of space, we're talking, millions of light years apart from each other. But because black holes are so super dense and so powerful gravitationally, they are pulling at each other distantly. But it's sort of like you standing on the other side of a room from somebody else and knowing that at some point you guys are about to slam into each other and like combine into one being, and it's inevitable, it's unstoppable. And apparently, these supermassive black holes, which have this thing called an accretion disk, which an accretion disk is basically all of the matter that a black hole is sucking into it. It deatomizes that matter, and then and because of the gravity, it's sort of like the way a diamond is made is by pressure and heat, right?
Yeah.
It's compacted carbon into this one singular shape. So what an accretion disk is all of that matter, all of the carbons and heliums, all the different, matter that is being absorbed by this black hole is being superheated and condensed before it enters the event horizon. So it's basically a giant swirling mass of impossibly hot fire and death.
Yeah.
Right? Of just atoms smashing into each other infinitely, right?
Yeah.
So they're accretion disks. Accretion disks are how we can kind of see black holes, because black holes, light doesn't even escape them, so we have to use their accretion disks to basically guess their size. And an accretion disk is also like stars. So you have all the basically just insane energy of all the stars that these black holes have absorbed, right? So you have these two supermassive black holes that are heading towards each other. And it will be inevitable that they will hit, that they will make contact, and they will basically absorb into each other and make another, like an even bigger black hole. But that combining of mass, matter, energy, etc., is apparently going to let out the light of, like, once they combine and their accretion disks combine and the energy and mass and whatever these black holes smack into each other, it will be a light source equivalent to like a couple trillion suns.
Basically, folks, we're fucked.
Like, I mean, this is going to happen a couple billion years in the future. So it's not going to be whoever is listening to this, you will not be present for this. This is not going to happen in your lifetime. But at some point, there will be a light source so bright in the sky, that will, I mean, it could potentially like dwarf the light of our own sun.
Yeah.
That's how intensely bright this shit will be. If you really think that life on Earth is so very, very important and magnificent and wonderful, I ask you, please, to look at black holes and just, like, the sheer scope. Like, the nearest black hole to Earth, which is a couple million light years. I mean, it's so far from us. There are some in our solar system that, or not our solar system, in our what do you want to call it?
Galaxy?
Our galaxy, yes. There's the word. There are plenty of black holes in our galaxy, and of course there's the supermassive one that's in the center of ours that is like eating everything up slowly. Yeah. But the closest one to us, which is not even close to the size of the one at the center of our universe, is so large that it would take the entirety of the existence of Earth,
right,
and our solar system. So we're talking billions of years. If we were to take a ship it would take billions of years for our ship to go even a quarter of the circumference of that black hole. Like, if we were trying to circumnavigate that black hole, and we were able to do that somehow, it would take billions of years just to go maybe a quarter of the way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're kind of big.
Well, not just that, but like, you know, there's every time we see like was an asteroid coming for us, and you know it's gonna miss us by so much or whatever like that. But the thing is that by the time, I mean, hopefully NASA has the technology and just the wherewithal to like see like, oh, something from like years and years and years ago. But basically, I was listening to something and they were basically, a scientist was saying like, in order for us to basically, for lack of a better example, pull an Armageddon, we need at least a 10-year head start.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Like,
no.
It's not something like, oh, we just saw that this asteroid's coming for Earth and we have like a few months, maybe even a couple of years. No, you need a legit 10-year head start just to make technology, the trajectories, all the other stuff, and also, you know, be able to see if the satellites can't catch it, be able to see it coming into the atmosphere and stuff like that, or just within the radius of our solar system, if you will. So it's just, when you think of shit like that, it's like, fuck.
I mean, we are playing a game about death, and we are in some pretty bleak times.
Yeah.
But I will say, the thing that's terrifying is we have done a really excellent job of establishing potential asteroid events.
Yeah.
If I can remember correctly, the last the next possible collision of an asteroid on Earth, according to the trajectory of our planet, is supposedly in the year, I think it was 2234, is the next potential collision of an asteroid into Earth. And that's based off of how many times we go through the asteroid belt, the current location of asteroids in the asteroid belt. Because if people don't know, we actually pass through an asteroid belt twice a year.
Yeah.
June and September. So it's either or November. I can't. I'd have to look at this.
It's
I
like
could
one
be
time in
like,
the summer, I believe, and like one time in the fall.
Every year, we go through an asteroid belt twice, and every year that we go through that asteroid belt twice, we are risking having an asteroid smack into us twice. Okay. So we've looked at our trajectory. We're really lucky that we have a moon, because it's sort of like a little gravitational shield outside of us that pulls meteors into us.
Right.
But there is a chance in the year 2234 that an asteroid will collide with us based on our current trajectory and its current location on Earth, or in relevance to Earth in the asteroid field. The only thing is, that's only the ones that we've been able to like scan on our way through.
Yeah.
And the ones that we've been able to basically like denote their locations, etc. We haven't accounted for every single one. So we can't fairly say with 100% accuracy. I think we're doing pretty good. We've got at least a 90% like coverage. We know a lot of the stuff that's there, but all it takes is one single asteroid, one single big asteroid to do serious damage to Earth. Let alone the nightmare scenario of the sun sending out such a large solar flare or a solar storm that just completely blankets and wipes out all of the electrical systems on the planet, which is totally feasible to happen anytime, any day, without any, preparedness. So our place in the universe. We live in chaos. We are not living in a.
Well, yeah, we live in a ball that's like flying around the sun at like breakneck speeds.
Yeah, to us, we're moving very slow, but the distance that we are traveling is obscene, and the speed in which we are moving is crazy. Also, is that like an evil bird person.
Yeah, the giant bird is basically Hector's. It's basically his Iago, if you will.
He looks like he's like scared to be who he is.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the florist. You know what I mean?
What was it? They said, because I believe that. So we were talking about the solar system and stuff. So basically, this guy is Hector, who is the big fat skeleton boss dude.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's taken over like this town that we were in the beginning of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, well, we just see him escaping.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they tried to recruit him for the revolution, but his office and his lab was in the building that Hector owns, so he couldn't escape. So we had to send a bird to try to, scare him, if you will, into leaving because we couldn't really send anybody there. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now.
Damn.
But no, going back to the solar system stuff, like that's really, really interesting, and it's one of those things where it's like, amidst all the stuff that's going on right now, it's like when you just look at stuff like that, it's just there's so much within our own lives there's a lot going on, but then you look at outside of that, and you look at outside into the universe, and there's just so much
how small
stuff.
How small our problems by comparison to just a singular flying rock could just be like, yeah, well, COVID? That's not really a problem. Oh, yeah, bye.
Now, I mean, that doesn't make it any less of a problem, because it's still something we have to live with.
Yes.
We still have to live with a lot of terrible
We're
things.
still alive.
Yes.
We still have these,
but
we still
it's
are
just one of those
facing
things
these
where
issues.
it's like, on top of those things, it's important to also be enlightened and to just know and keep in the back part of your mind, like, oh, this other stuff that's,
way more in
like
the size and scope of the universe. Us going through a pandemic, by comparison to black holes and solar flares and all that kind of stuff, is very small potatoes. But the thing is that it's extremely important to us on Earth because that's what we're experiencing. I mean, if I was a sun and I was sentient, I would be absolutely mortified right now.
Oh yeah,
because I'm like, I'm gonna live to see this collision of two black holes, and I'm freaking the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would be mortified.
and that's the thing is, like, the stars, like the sun is this giant ball of just gas. It's the biggest star in our solar system.
It's a big
but
toot.
for someone to
Big flaming toot.
for two things to like come together and then be this thing of like, oh shit, like it's bigger than the sun itself.
It's light it's an amount of light and energy that will be so obscenely powerful. It will literally, like, it will blot out, it will make the sky bright. Not only that, but it will be so, the light emanating from it, blasting out from it potentially, could, like, disintegrate things.
Yes.
Like, light.
Yes.
So like lasers that like burn stuff. We're talking a laser so large that it just decimates anything within its path.
Yes.
Like that's terrifying shit. That's craziness. So that's black holes. If you ever have any questions about science,
Yep.
I'm your guy to talk to about free.
I mean, I was reading this book about astrophysics like a couple years ago, and it just blew my mind, like how the universe works and all this stuff and the asteroids and everything like that. I'm just like, oh shit. Like, it's fascinating, but it's also, again, it's can be scary at the same time.
We live in a universe that is not
we live in
ordered.
We live in ongoing chaos. Basically.
We are an example.
Consistent chaos.
We are an example of ordered chaos.
Yes.
But as COVID has shown, we are currently living. We there is no certainty right now.
No.
And that is like the thing that I think one of the more important lessons to learn is that nothing that we have presently is certain, that we know is going, like, I can't guarantee that something is going to happen for me,
Right.
you know? And I think that it's important to, especially in a time like this when we are recognizing how uncertain things are, to accept that things will happen as they will.
Yes.
You know, and that we can do whatever we can to make things the best that we possibly can.
But things might not never be perfect.
But nothing will ever be perfect.
Yeah.
100%. Nothing will be perfect. Nothing will go exactly the way that you want it to go, and that's okay.
That's fine, because the thing is like in life, the best thing we can do, especially for each other, just as individuals, just as people, is to just be the best version of ourselves that we can, and just try to do the best with the things that we can control, and try to do things to affect and make positive change. And that's really like all we can do. And then, you know, hopefully that when we are gone, you know, when our time is up, that the people behind us, that come after us, will take that mantle and do the same thing. That's all we can hope for. But at the same time, like again, nothing's ever going to be perfect. There's always going to be chaos. There's always going to be some sort of struggle. But the best thing we can do is really just try to do our best to manage that and make our lives as comfortable and be as humane as we possibly can. So it's just, you know, it's finding that mix of optimism with a sense of realism, and you know, and that's a mixture that takes perfectly time to balance. And so yeah, it's just looking at that. You know, it's again, it's important to just be the best people we can be, and to just, you know, help each other, you know, for the time we have on Earth, and just be the best version of ourselves that we can, and just listen to each other and help each other, and you know, that's my Mr. Rogers moment.
People will look back in however many years and be like, that was the moment that Nicholas was started his journey as the new Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Got a fleet of cardigans in my closet and a bunch of...
I'm surprised you haven't already gone on Amazon during this episode and purchased at least 60 cardigans. You know?
I mean, the episode's still young. We're, you know, a little almost 20 minutes into it, but like, there's still time. Don't underestimate me.
I did have something else that I was thinking about with regards to COVID, and why there is such a general I think that there is a general discomfort, sadness, frustration, anger, exhaustion, etc. that every single person is going through right now. And I realized that what we are currently experiencing is weirdly a war. And the way I came to that conclusion is, think about the human body, right? We are essentially just flesh machines.
Yes.
Like, we are a system of responses. We have a brain, which is our computer. We have all sorts of. I mean, we are a biological machine.
Yes.
Right. And COVID is like throwing. It is a virus. It is something that you. It's like a virus in a computer, or throwing an extra gear into a machine.
Yes.
That screws up its process, right? Right now we have a alien force, not an alien force, but a non-human force invading us and damaging us, right? And in times of war, what do people do? They seek shelter, right? But we're not happy in times of war because it's exhausting. There's a battle that's raging outside, and we're stuck in our homes, right? And it's terrifying because we're stuck and terrified that the violence that's occurring, which is the COVID, which is the damage, which is, you know, this invasion, this invading species that's trying to take us down and create more of itself, right? It's a invading force on humanity, and we're all suffering in this sort of I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but we're trying our best to fight back, and it's exhausting. And I think that that's where the collective sense of like exhaustion and feeling like, you know, I honestly it's tiring to, I know that like we get to go to bed when we want and do what we want in our own homes, but it's exhausting, like feeling like you're cooped up and you can't do anything, that you can't, you know, it's a different type of war, but
Right.
in a sense we are stuck in a weird, virulent wartime. And so everyone is just feeling this like fear of their future, right? In wartime, you think about like World War II, do you think everybody there was like, oh, I know how the war is going to end.
No, nobody
I know
knew.
how, blah, 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 blah. You know, everybody was uncertain. Everybody was afraid. Like, are the Nazis going to make it to America?
Yeah.
Are the Japanese going to make it to America? Are we actually going to win this war? Are we going to have enough troops? Are we going to have enough bombs? Like, you know, there's all this uncertainty, and we're in a similar situation where we don't know if we're going to have our jobs after this. We don't know if our rent's going to be, you know, like, we have all this uncertainty. But that's where our collective conscious is right now, is we're in this wartime. We're like all
We are
suffering
we are
right now.
to put a bow on this episode, we are at our most primal state right now in terms of our mindset, in terms of our actions, and I think in this time with everything that's going on right now in the world, especially here in America, I think that a lot of people now hopefully are like opening their eyes and seeing what life really is and seeing what the world really is like. Because I think before, everybody was, you know, we were waking up, going to work a 9 to 5 or whatever thing, and you know, and we had some, you know, you might have some obstacles in your way, but you know, but when all this stuff, you know, just collides, like going back to the beginning of the conversation, these two giant, you know, things just climb and smash into each other, and it creates this big explosion, and everybody looks up and sees this giant light, and it's like, oh, this is what life really is. This is what we have to do now. And it's a scary time, but also it's an important time, because I think a lot of people are really taking the time to just educate themselves on things, to learn a lot about things, and really just hopefully, I know it's, you know, you see social media, you see people being dicks to each other, but at the same time, there is a lot of compassion. There are a lot of people having difficult conversations with each other and listening to each other. And I think that this year, 2020, hasn't been the best in terms.
It's been a shit show.
It's been a shit show, but in a sense, though, it's also been probably one of the biggest learning experiences I think anybody really can have.
It is this year we all have had to grow up.
Yes.
Not in the sense like age. I mean,
losing our childlike imagination.
But
and wonder, yeah.
our I think this year has been a reality check for everyone, and a necessary reality check that things need to change, and things have to change in order for things to get better.
Exactly.
So,
and with that being said, that's going to do it for this episode of Reviewcade. This is probably like the one episode we've done where it's just been like full on just a discussion like this.
Yeah. Things are happening. We played games.
Yes. But we will see you next time, people.
Bye.